The day I was reborn tasted of champagne and betrayal. It was the afternoon of the husband selection, and as the crystal flutes chimed, a second life crashed into me, a tidal wave of memories from a future that had already ended in ruin. And with it came the noise, a ghostly, dissonant symphony of the thoughts of everyone in the room. In that cacophony, one venomous shard of a thought cut through, clear as a bell. It belonged to my sister Lyra. This time, her mind seethed, a serpent coiling in the sunlit parlor. I will have the prize. I will have the gentle husband. With a theatrical flourish of anxiety, she claimed Rhys Draven, the man whose gentle facade had been my solace in that other, finished life. She left me with Kaelen, the cold, distant, abusive man who had been her tormentor. A bitter laugh echoed in the confines of my own skull. Oh, Lyra, you poor, foolish, resurrected thing. You think you know what a prize looks like. Once again, I was there, in the grand dining hall of the Vance estate, a pawn in a game I now understood. Across the polished mahogany sat the two scions of the Draven dynasty. Kaelen, the eldest, was a man carved from glacial ice, his silence a physical presence, a weight in the air that seemed to bend the light around him. Beside him was Rhys, the illegitimate younger son, whose smile was a warm, deceptive nectar, promising kindness he did not possess. He's mine. Lyra's thought was a possessive hiss. Her eyes were fixed on Rhys, her desire a palpable thing. I watched as my sister, my blood, the architect of my first death, rose and drifted to Rhys's side. "My name is Lyra Vance," she murmured, a perfect portrait of shy affection. "I find myself drawn to you." My father's voice, a hearty, oblivious boom, sealed the pact. "Elara, as your sister has made her choice, you shall marry Kaelen Draven." I saw the viper's smile of triumph in Lyra's mind before it touched her lips. "Let's see how you enjoy his fists," she gloated silently. The scar on my memory throbbed. I remembered her life with Kaelen, a litany of closed doors, sharp words, and the lonely, echoing pain of a loveless union, ending in her exile. I remembered my own life with Rhys, the hollow comfort, the endless pampering that was merely the gilding on a cage. And I remembered its end, the blinding headlights, the scream of twisting metal, and Lyra's face, contorted with a jealousy so potent it became murderous. All because Rhys had inherited the Draven Empire after Kaelen's sudden, mysterious death. "I would be honored, Father," I said, my voice a calm island in the storm of my thoughts. "In truth, I find myself drawn to Kaelen." I moved to the chair beside him, and the chill emanating from him was absolute. It was a tangible barrier, a warning. I tried to breach it, to listen for a thought, a flicker of anything within him, but there was only a profound, unnerving silence, a void. In that moment, Rhys glanced at Lyra, and his thought slithered into my mind, oily and possessive. Such a pretty little thing to break. A tremor of pure instinct, of remembered terror, made me reach out and brush my fingers against Kaelen's hand. It was shockingly warm. This was the better choice. The monster you see is always less dangerous than the one who hides in plain sight. Our weddings were a hollow spectacle, just as before. Rhys, the perfect gentleman, arrived at dawn to sweep Lyra off her feet, while Kaelen was a ghost, his absence a statement. "Where is your husband, Elara?" Lyra whispered, as she passed, her voice a silken taunt. I met her gaze with a placid smile. "Worry about your own, dear sister." Her inner world roiled with fury. She wanted to see me humiliated, to watch me crumble as Kaelen's bride. But I was not the same Elara who had lived and died before. When the whispers about my absent groom grew to a fever pitch, I took the microphone. My husband, Kaelen, was called away to close a vital business negotiation, I announced, my voice ringing with unshakable confidence. He asked that I stand for him and thank you all for celebrating with us. The room fell silent. Across the hall, I saw the matriarch, Valeriana Draven, nod with a look of sharp approval. I had not been a liability. I had been an asset. I had protected the family's name. The tea ceremony was Lyra's next planned ambush. I heard her mental countdown, 3, 2, 1, and sidestepped just as her foot shot out. She tumbled, a mess of silk and spilled tea, earning a lash of disapproval from the matriarch. Idiot, Rhys thought, a flicker of irritation in the sea of his charm. That evening, Valeriana took my hand. "I will ensure Kaelen returns tonight, Elara," she promised. "He owes you that." He did return, a storm cloud of exhaustion and power breaking into the stillness of our bridal suite. While he showered, I made his bed, then prepared the couch for myself. When he emerged, wrapped in a towel, droplets clinging to the hard planes of his chest, he saw my arrangement. "Playing hard to get?" His voice was low, skeptical. "This is a partnership, not a romance," I stated plainly, refusing to meet his gaze. "A business arrangement. We can maintain appearances without the pretense of affection." A ghost of a smirk played on his lips. "You're pragmatic. I can agree to that." And so began our strange, silent life, a fragile truce held together by unspoken rules. The next morning, Lyra paraded her supposed marital bliss, her skin a canvas of possessive marks left by Rhys. She mocked my conservative dress, her thoughts a torrent of smug assumptions about my own wedding night. "By the rules of this family, you will address me as sister-in-law," I reminded her coolly. Her rage was incandescent. The air around Kaelen dropped 10 degrees. And then I heard Rhys's mind. "You foolish girl, you will be the death of us." Kaelen's voice cut through the tension, dangerously soft. "Rhys, the first rule." A slap echoed in the hallway. Respect for the heir and his wife was not optional. The punishment for forgetting was 30 lashes. I had survived my first life by memorizing those rules. Lyra, it seemed, had not. At the company, I discovered the true breadth of my new power. During a negotiation for a new skincare formula, I heard a foreign investor's plan to swindle the Dravens for millions. I intervened, deconstructing his worthless product with cold logic and offering a pittance. The man was furious, but Kaelen, after a moment of watching me with an unreadable expression, calmly offered the man 1 million and had him sign, but not before demanding he apologize to me. "The formula is worthless," Kaelen explained later, "but the brand he built has market potential. You have excellent instincts, Elara, but you see the pieces, not the whole board." I felt a grudging respect. He was teaching me. This was power, a different kind than I had known. The charade continued, a tense dance of civility, until the night Lyra's jealousy finally boiled over in a restroom, her hands tangling violently in my hair. Kaelen appeared, as if from a shadow. He didn't hesitate. One swift, brutal motion sent her sprawling. "You will learn respect," he said, his voice a blade of ice. Lyra was dragged to the underground cells. Her final desperate plan was hatched in that darkness. After her release, she feigned repentance, asking to learn the business from me, all while her mind screamed its true intent. "You and Kaelen will die, and I will have everything." The plan from our first life was back in motion. I knew I had to act. Wearing a mask of vulnerability, I went to Rhys. I played the part of the neglected wife, drawn to his warmth, his charm. I whispered that Lyra, bitter from his abuse, was plotting to poison him. I fed his paranoia with truths only he and I could know, truths scavenged from the wreckage of my past. He believed me, his mind filled with murderous rage for his wife, and a smug, predatory desire for me. Armed with a recording of our conversation, I went to Kaelen. As I played back the nauseating audio of my feigned seduction, his face remained a stone mask. But then, he pulled me into an embrace so sudden it stole my breath. "Never think of betraying me, Elara," he murmured against my hair, his voice a low warning. "While you are my wife, you are mine." The final dinner was a masterpiece of suspense. Lyra and Rhys served a feast, their minds alight with murderous triumph. I tried to warn Kaelen, but he calmly picked up his chopsticks and ate. My blood ran cold as I watched him, and then Lyra collapse.
But as guards stormed the room, summoned by the matriarch, Kaelen turned his head, a slow, knowing smirk curving his lips. "I'm not as foolish as you think, Elara," he whispered. "The cameras saw everything. They drink a powerful sedative, not poison." His gaze softened, becoming something searching, something vulnerable. "You were truly afraid for me just now. Don't tell me you're starting to fall for me."
With our enemies dispatched to the cells for good, only one thing remained: the divorce. I had the money, I had my freedom. But one night, he came home, pretending to be drunk, and cornered me. "I want a divorce," I declared, my voice shaking. The silence that followed was heavy, broken. "I knew it," he whispered, a universe of defeat in those 3 words. "I knew you were planning to leave me." He looked at me, his eyes deep, dark wells of a pain I couldn't comprehend. "Elara, have you forgotten me? Have you truly forgotten Kael?" The name was a key, unlocking a dusty room in my memory. A boy in elementary school, long hair, a mask, the other kids taunting him, me stepping in front of him, a small, fierce protector. The moment he took off his mask, revealing a face of breathtaking beauty. Kael, my first secret love. "I've been looking for you all these years," Kaelen's voice was barely a whisper. "And then one day, I found you. The day I first heard your thoughts." My world tilted on its axis. "I can only hear you, Elara. Only your thoughts, no one else's." "I knew it was you, but I waited. I wanted to see if you remembered me." His voice cracked. "And then I heard you thinking about saving 10 million and leaving me." He could hear me. All this time, he had heard everything. His silence wasn't a void. It was a vigil. His coldness wasn't cruelty. It was the fear of a heart waiting to be broken again. He had been testing me, listening, hoping. "Do you still want to leave?" he asked, his soul bare in his eyes. I shook my head, a tear tracing a hot path down my cheek. The man I thought I had to escape was the one I had been searching for my entire life. His rejection of Lyra, his protection of me, it all snapped into focus. He knew. He had always known. He brushed the tear away with his thumb, his lips finding my cheek. "Stay with me forever, Elara," he breathed. "Yes," I sobbed, my heart aching with a joy so profound it felt like breaking. Forever. The silence between us was no longer a void, but a sanctuary, built for 2. This second chance wasn't just at life, it was at a love that had waited across time itself to find me again.